There's a car company that goes by the name, or went by the name of 3 letters, TVR. They keep threatening to come back, but as much as I'd love them to come back, and so many other car perverts would, I just don't think they are. The car in this barn, this real barn today here in Worcestershire, is a TVR from the 80s, using lots of Ford componentry as they used to. Lightweight, raw, frisky. And the reason why it was put in here is not known yet, but I'm going to meet the previous owner, and I'm also going to meet the current owner who contacted me, who wants to get this car out and rescue it. And that's what we're going to do today. Whether we'll get it running, I don't know, but I've brought tools and cleaning gear. So of course this is an episode, a barnfind episode of The Late Break Show, and I'm Jonny Smith. So Roger, now you're the one that contacted me on the show, and you said, I've bought this TVR off an old chap. It's been in a barn a while. Sure. Hence why we're in the barn here in Worcestershire. And it's absolutely caked in dust. I haven't had a really close look yet. And also my knowledge of earlier TVRs is not massive, but what I do know is that this is an 80s TVR.
Yep.
You thought it might be a S2. But now you're thinking it's an S1.5, something like that?
I think something in that range, so I'm not good on TVRs particularly, and I'm learning as I go, but I understand that between S1, S2, there was a 2.8 litre engine, 2.9 litre engine, and there's a little bit of transition between, and I think the ones that they call 1.5s are the ones that came with the 2.8 but had the later styling on it. So you'll see on the front, you'll have the bumpers, you have the chrome on the bumpers, and other things on the interior. So I think this is a 1.5. Yeah. Bit of an oddball.
Yeah, that's from what I can tell, the sort of S series of TVR, which came out, I think, in 1986, something like that, ran for 7 years, and it was single-handedly saved the TVR company. It was a really popular car, used loads of Ford running gear like this one, so a Ford Cologne 2.8i engine so in Capris, that sort of car, and Granadas, and then the 2.9, which was the Evolution engine. The chap who did own it up until quite recently, whose stuff this is, that we've got to move, he's going to be turning up a bit later to talk about his ownership. But you've got cars over there, so you use this place as storage, right?
Yeah, this is how I came about this. So using it purely for storage for my 2 cars over here, which are future projects. Yeah. And not very far across the road, I see this, and I strike up a conversation with the owner, and he's an old leather man. He makes saddles and bags and all that type of malarkey, and I think he just came around to the realization he was never going to do it, and so we managed to strike up a deal and agreed to sell it. And
do you know how long he's had it?
He's had this car since 2006.
Right, okay.
It's been sat here, we think, for at least 10 years. It's 2013. Last time it was MOT'd.
2013 was the last MOT?
Yeah.
Okay, so not masses of time,
yeah,
but enough time for it to gather a reasonable amount of dust.
Absolutely.
Luckily, it's a pretty dry barn, and access is good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start pulling all this stuff out to get access to it. And if it needs to be dragged out, if the brakes are seized, we do have access to a little mini digger. So let's crack on. We'll remove some of this stuff. I'm going to get some gloves on.
That's yours. Cut-offs.
Do you know what? It's
you.
It's far too hot to wear the fleece today, the barnfind fleece. It was a stupid idea. It was boiling hot when I woke up, and I didn't bring shorts. Maybe it's time. Barnfind shorts. It looks like they've been eaten though by a rodent. They shouldn't be like that. This car was the first model that I think when Peter Wheeler took ownership of TVR. This was the first model he introduced. And like I said before, I think it ran 86 to 94. It was a really, really successful model.
And it was the best seller?
I think it was one of the best. It certainly, everyone said it was the saviour of TVR, this car. And almost it sort of had the frontal looks anyway. They look like some of the older TVRs. But they kind of brought it all the way from the 80s into the 90s. And it looks so much more modern than the Tasman, which was the wedgie one that we talked about, which was like 80 to 89, I think. But used loads of the running gear of the Tasman. Oh, God, I can actually lift that. It's not as heavy as I was expecting. I just don't want to clang my knee on it.
So rumour has it, had some rear damage before we put it away at a garage, actually, where one of my cars are currently sat at, and in the fiberglass, and they promised to repair it. I'm not sure that offer's on the table anymore 10 years later, but yeah, but so far it looks good.
It does look
I can't see any damage.
And I believe TVR patented this roof system. So it's got a cloth, the back is cloth here with a plastic window.
Yeah.
But the T-tops are solid, yes, solid and removable. And this was the first year where they replaced removable window panels with normal wind-down glass windows. You understand the TVR sound before anything else. They always had a very good sound, all of them. Yeah, so it looks like
cracked as well.
I think all 4 tyres are flat or nearly flat. So Bing TVR, glass fibre, hence why power to weight was always really good. The front end is all one piece. And is that knocking on a...
Yeah, it's on the floor.
Oh, it's
too low, it's actually on the floor, too low.
So we can just have a quick look in there. It's all in there.
Looks complete.
It does look complete. There's the ID plate just there, we'll have a look at that later. EFI. And there's, look, tax disc. Where is it? 2010. Yeah. 2010. And I'm a bit worried about that triangular decal there because I think it's saying that it has an alarm. Or an immobiliser. Do you know if it has an alarm or an immobiliser?
I believe so, because I managed to recover some keys.
Right.
It'd be a nice surprise.
I fear the immobiliser. Alarms I can sort of handle. Immobilisers, Okay, let's clear the rest of this stuff out. Suddenly feel like I'm in a perfume advert. Actually, no. No one ever wears a fleece in a perfume advert. Ever. Stupid idea wearing a fleece. It's a very hot summer's day. So if you excuse me, gonna go and derobe. Fancy seeing this in the corner. Moto Guzzi, 850 LeMans. That's cool, isn't it? If you like motorbikes, we do actually have a 2-wheel playlist, which I will put above my head with the presenter and my friend Shane Shaky Byrne, multi-time British Superbike champion. I'm a simple man, which is why I've brought my tyre inflation device with me that is trusty, never breaks down. Then Rog comes along, and it was Father's Day yesterday. Guess what Roger gets for Father's Day? Brand new plug-in tyre inflation device, and guess what? There's a plug. Shit.
Could be here for some time.
Not waiting for this modern shit. at that. It's all getting exciting. All 4 tyres have gone up. And to get it out of this sort of like corner, we're now going to see if we can drag it out that way. We'll see if the brakes are seized. They might be seized. They usually are. But we could save some time by using Nigel's little mini digger, attaching a tow rope and just drag it slowly to there. Then we have a better look around the interior and stuff. I have seen another sign in the window there that alarms me because it says vehicle alarm system fitted. Let's hope that it's not gone doolally. So this is the most you've seen of it?
This is the closest I've been to it, so I've not gone inside, I've not seen the rear, I've not seen this side at all.
So you've never been inside?
I've never been inside.
You've just seen through that window?
Yes.
Just check that it has an interior?
Exactly. Seems to be all there.
It does seem to be all there.
But it's all locked up, and the outgoing owner gave me this key, but what he probably doesn't realise or remember is that 10 years or so ago, he actually gave the lady of the house this key, which has all of the Immobiliser stuff, we hope. I've put a battery in the fob.
Yeah.
Let's see if it works.
What a stroke of luck. So that is the Immobiliser or alarm or both.
Yeah.
One of the forward keys. And that's an Immobiliser, isn't it?
It's
One of
gotta
those
be.
little toggles. Well, let's have a look inside then.
Let's go.
We'll just check, we'll have a little sneaky look, and then we'll pull it out.
Wow.
Right, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah. So seats are good. So, well, the whole dash is actually...
It looks surprisingly clean.
It does look surprisingly good, yeah. Look at that upholstered TVR on the glove box, the cubby. It's cool, isn't it? This is just before the interiors went wild with the Chimera. Now, this car predates the Chimera and the Cerbera when I think TVR hit their sort of like zenith. But this is good. So these keys are good.
Okay.
Handbrake, it looks like it's on. No, it's not. Good. It's off. It was left off. Hallelujah to that. I reckon if we get it into the light, we'll have a better look because I can't see anything down there. Yeah, let's do that. So you're Nigel.
Yes.
You're the previous owner of this car.
Yes.
And the mini digger.
Yes.
When did you buy this car then, Nigel?
2006 from memory.
Okay.
My 65th birthday present to myself.
So is this like the first sports car you've owned?
Oh no, I've had 3 Frog Eye Sprites, 1 MG Midget, 1 Healy, and an MGB.
Right.
So I have had 1 or 2 sports cars, but I just can't afford to keep 2 or 3 vehicles on the road.
Yeah. So this, you bought it in 06. The tax disc says 2010.
Yeah.
So do you not think you've driven it since then?
No.
Right. Okay.
It was out in the yard. And the landlady said, it's a shame to leave that in the open, put it in the barn.
Yeah.
So she'd come in here and that's where she stayed.
Oh my gosh.
And me thinking, one day I will repair it and get it back on the road. But
so repair it. What was wrong with it?
The sensor for the fuel.
Right. Okay.
I think I'd replaced it about twice. It needs replacing.
So it's like a cut-off?
Yeah.
Right. So it's an electric fuel pump, is it?
It's an electric fuel pump, but that works.
Yeah.
But the thing that adjusts it
right, okay.
didn't. But normally once you plugged it in, you were all right for a time.
Right. But what about these? Because me and Roger were thinking these can't be original.
Because the original lever and catch was always dodgy.
Yeah.
I had a friend put these on.
Yeah.
Which are kind of racing bonnet fittings or whatever.
Yeah. And Roger was telling me about the little bit of damage on the rear corner.
Yes, well, the thing that tells you what gear you're in is a very dark piece of glass.
Right.
And it was parked in reverse. It was in the garage, parked outside the garage. The mechanic went and started it,
Oh.
not realising it was in gear,
Without the clutch down.
and crunch into the car behind.
Oh. Right. Hence that. It's not bad damage.
Oh, it's not. And
What's it like to drive? You enjoyed driving it? You went to any club meets or anything like that?
I was coming back up from Muchmarkle one evening, and I'd never taken her up over 100, but on the handbook it says capable of 120.
Yeah.
Came up past the Whittington turning, and I'd got her up to about 115, and I thought, that's fast enough for an old man. So I was easing off the pedal slowly, and I saw something coming down the slip road. Yes, it was a police car.
It was. Did they pull you?
When they did pull me in, do you know what speed you were doing? And I said, well, what speed had you got me down for? Yes, it was over 100. And I said, oh, well, at least it will go that fast then.
Oh, you said that. Did they give you any points?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was quite happy to admit I was speeding.
Oh, okay.
No, I said, I'll hold my hands up, I admit.
Yeah.
They said, well, if we do you at 90, it'll go on just a fixed penalty. If we do you for 100,
It's caught.
we've got loads of paperwork to do.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that, do we?
That's good.
So
That's good.
I was up and away.
Well, there we go. What a great... Well, listen, thanks ever so much, Nigel, for coming over. And in a second, we're going to have a look under the bonnet and we're going to run some checks on the engine.
Yeah.
See if there's a chance of firing the V6 up. And then we're going to drag it out there and wash it. Because it should be some sort of dark red, burgundy, maroony colour.
Oh, it's a lovely colour.
Right, now that we've got it out into the middle of the barn, better visibility, nice light going on, it's a beautiful location. We're going to start looking at whether or not we can fire the car up. We thought originally, well, Roger believed it was a 2.8 car. We're not so sure now. We were looking on the internet at the shape of this plenum chamber. And we think it might be a 2.9, which would figure, because it's a 1989 car, and I think they introduced the Series 3, or the S3, in 90. So if this is an S2, it would be a 2.9i, unless it was a changeover model. But look at access. Access is amazing, because it's like an E-Type Jag, and the whole front kind of lifts off in one. You've got the MAF there. You've got the plenum there. There's got the weird header tank here because the radiator goes forward inside the bonnet. Battery there, brakes here. So what we're going to do now, before we do any kind of plugs out, long-winded stuff, we're going to change the battery because it's still got the same battery on that it had in 2010. Put one of my batteries on. Rog, sit in it, turn the key, see if we get dash lights, and see if we can disarm the immobiliser and the alarm. Because if we can't do that, it's just going to be a complete pain in the arse. And if we can do that, then I will take the plugs out. We'll probably just squirt a bit of oil down the bores, see if we're getting a spark, and probably introduce the Can of Hope fuel system. So that's the plan. Oh, don't tell me the battery's too big for the positive to reach. Negative is all right. Do you know what? I'll light it on its side because it's a gel battery. I can do that. Right. Just going to spray I'll spray a couple of the electrical contacts anyway, but. Right, battery's rigged up. Won't fit in the battery tray, but we've connected it. Let's see if the dash lights work.
Yes.
Yeah? And is there any like scary immobiliser flashing nonsense?
There isn't, but I have found where this lives.
Oh,
which is
okay.
right there.
Oh, okay. So, well, that's kind of good, isn't it? Yeah, all those lights are on. Okay, so you put the key in and all of them illuminated, did you?
No key, that's just headlights.
Okay, what about ignition lights? Because what we need to do, I want to put the key in and do 2 turns or whatever, however many turns. So that's on.
Battery.
Battery, okay. I'm going to take the distributor cap off and check the Rotron. I mean, theoretically, if the car's not only been off the road for, say, 13 years, if this is to be believed, and Nigel's memories to be believed, it's not that long, and it's been in the dry, which is good. And it looks like it was in a pretty good state of repair. Tell you what, do you want to have a quick look? Compare that plug to the ones you've bought, your new ones. And if those are the right ones, we can put new in. If they're not, we'll just clean up what we've got. That doesn't look bad. So we're going to take all the plugs out anyway, because I'm going to put a little bit of spray grease or oil down them, and then turn it over on the starter motor with no compression, just for safety, really. And you know, Roger's bought this car. Just want to do it as a precautionary method, really. The oil is up to the top line and looks pretty good, so that bodes well. So what was your first car then, Rog? You a mini man through and through?
Pretty much. It was a 1098 Mini Clubman. So
Clubman,
yeah, long stroke engine, lots of torque, and in pageant blue. DOL 593V, and if it's out there and anyone's got it, I want it back. Yeah, no, incredible car, brilliant first car. Passed my test 3 days before Christmas. That car rocked up on the driveway, and I spent Christmas Day and Boxing Day fixing a cylinder head gasket on it, and drove it for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years straight afterwards.
Really?
University, yeah, it was brilliant.
What a car.
Different plugs.
They are
Yep.
different width by the look of it, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 2.8, 2.9 to go with these.
Yeah. So maybe it is a
I
2.9.
think it probably is.
Yeah. I've decided what I'm going to do is I'll spray some penetrating oil down the bores, because I've got an extra long reach, flexible straw system. So I can get it right down in there, give it a little tickle, and then when we turn it over with no plugs in, it'll just lube up the bores if there's any kind of dryness to protect it. If you've got a car which you think is of interest for the Late Break Show barn finds, it doesn't have to be in an actual barn. It can be in a hedge, field, garage, lean-to, whatever. There's contact details in the description below. Ideally, I like it when they're completely covered in bags and wheelbarrows, preferably, or an MDF. Have fleece, will travel. Here's a 3 in order. If we clean them up, and you know what, I'll spray the bores now. They can be sitting and they can marinate for a bit, can't they? While access is really good. They're done. Let's swap sides. I remember when it was a big deal to have like a 2.8 litre Granada or Capri, same engine, or 2.9. And the 2.8 injection was 160 horsepower. The 2.9 was 168 horsepower. So quite a lot of displacement for not a huge amount of power, but these things were under 900 kilos. And that's the difference. TVRs were always great power to weight ratio. I'll save that one till the end. Right, all the plugs are out now, but one thing we have noticed is the foam. Can you see the foam air cleaner here? Like a sort of performance foam air cleaner. It's just turned to such a like brittle dust. as soon as we try and fire the engine up, it's going to inhale that through the MAF and do a lot of damage. So I think we're going to take that air filter completely off, get rid of it so that it only sucks in clean air. So again, rotor arm looks in pretty good condition. So I think with again a little bit of a dress up with that. If you pass me that cloth over.
Got a good stay of that.
Look. You know that oasis you get in flower shops that you stick arranged cut flowers into? It's just turned into that. That's gross.
Golly.
You can't leave any of that around there. It'll just snort it all up. Yeah, you don't want that in your engine. Okay. Whoa.
That's fuel.
That's fuel. Yeah, there we go. We've just traced the fuel lines where they come from the back of the car to the engine bay. This is the fuel in, we think, and there's lots of fuel in it. And doesn't smell too bad. We've still got the spark plugs out. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this off. I'm going to get Roger to probably turn the car over, see if the fuel pump's working. But obviously it's not going to fire anything because there's no spark plugs in. Turn the engine over safely. We've put some penetrating oil in the bores. And then if we're happy, we can introduce spark. And maybe we get fire up. Yeah, I think that's on now. So there's only one plug off, which I've put there, which is the spare plug. So theoretically, if the immobiliser's playing ball and all the ignition system's okay, that will get a crack from that. If we get a crack from that, we immediately put the HT lead on, we introduce the fuel.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah. No spark.
Okay.
It's weird, isn't it? Normally it has a bit of a flashing LED to give you a warning.
Try again.
Yeah. No.
Are you clear?
Yeah. No spark.
I can't hear a fuel pump or anything.
There's no sign of an electric fuel pump, is there?
No.
So that's the thing. It's like there's no ignition, there's no fuel.
Yeah.
That's it. Keep it rolling, keep it rolling. That's it, full lock, full lock. All good.
Hang on. Do a window down, really?
All right. Roger's doing some detective work with the TVR specialist on the phone to try and work out why we haven't got any spark or fuel. He's also taken off the steering column shroud to see what the deal is with the immobiliser, and hey presto, show the viewers. It's all been snipped off. It doesn't even work.
That's not going to do anything.
So therefore, it doesn't have an immobiliser anymore, and possibly doesn't have an alarm anymore, which is semi-good and semi-bad. But also, I think there's a module missing from the wiring loom, which we need to do a bit more digging on. So we're going to just digest these things while we give it a quick wash. Small wins. while Roger's checking the fuse box over, just to see if we've missed any fuses or relay issues, we found this in the glove box. A beautifully photocopied owner's handbook. And it says, because remember this was the first model I think with Peter Wheeler as the chairman, yours sincerely Peter Wheeler. Dear new owner, I'd like you to take this opportunity to thank you for the purchase of the S convertible. TVR has been manufacturing sports cars since 1947, and over the past few years we have become faster and more expensive while maintaining superb handling and driving characteristics, larger power plants, more luxury fitted items. That's true, this car did have more luxury items, believe it or not, than other TVRs that came before it. Now that we've got it out in the sun, you can see this sort of shaped dash. TVR were really creative when it came to dashboards, especially when it went into the 90s, the cars that came after this, the S series. Yeah, you've got the distinctive Ford gear knob, but other than that, it's pretty, unique, really. I love the little magnetic TVR stitched glove box there as well. At the back, we've got Nigel's little area where his dog used to live. Bless him, he said his dog's since passed away, but there's still dog hair there and the lead. This here is a fascinating little thing. This sort of tinted panel, this is where all the idiot lights, as it were, should illuminate, and we should be getting more than just one light. At the moment we're just getting the battery there, but we should be getting other stuff illuminating there too. We're going to go through the fuses in a second and just have a last ditch attempt to check the fuses and the connections. But yeah, what a cool thing, right? I hope you've enjoyed my first TVR barn find, my first TVR on the Late Break Show, the first of many, I'm sure. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. If you want to support the channel via Patreon, you're more than welcome. I will put a link in the description for more details on that. Hopefully, you'll see it running soon. But we ran out of time today, I'm really sorry. I'm gutted.